this is Victor. I'm here with a new background video, and this time we are going, or lore video, and this time we are going to talk about the Adepta Sororitas. This is one of my favorite armies of the Imperium, and we are going to cover a little bit their history and their composition. So Adepta Sororitas is a faction, or is part of the Ordo Hereticus, okay? And you will see that they have the symbol of the Eye of the Inquisition, because they are as well, they are part of the Ordo Hereticus, and they are in that way linked to the Inquisition. But they are also part of the Ecclesiarchy and the Ministerum, okay? So they are the only body arm, or the only army that are allowed in the Ministerum. Do that we are going to see in the history that the Ecclesiarchy is not allowed in principle to have an army, and as they used to have in the past, and they have to give all this power to the Astra Militarum and the Navy. So let's make a look what is inside. So we also have here this, okay, and let's talk a little bit about this. So as I said, they are part of the Ministerum, and their main role is to they fight in all fronts. Today we have seen them fighting the Chenos. They are really fanatic servants of the Emperor. Okay, they are part of the Ecclesiarchy, and this way they have a lot of flamers and melters, because they want to burn the souls of the heretics. Okay. They will be really followers of the Imperial Creed. Okay, so you know that the Imperial Creed was created during the Horus Heresy, and then was created later on the Adeptus Ministerum. The Adeptus Ministerum or Ecclesiarchy are the arm of the Empire that they will spread the Imperial Creed, okay, what is like the Holy Book, in a way. It's all this religion around the Emperor, so they will spread this word all over the Empire, and they will make sure that all the Empire citizens are following the Ecclesiarchy, the Imperial Creed, okay. If you are not inside that, if you don't follow that, then you will be considered heretic, and you will be killed directly by the Ecclesiarchy, okay? So it's really religious driving, all the Imperial, okay? And the Adepta Sororitas is part of this, of the Ecclesiarchy. What is the origin? So the origin of the Adepta Sororitas, we have to go back to the 36th millennium. So they were not existing during the Horus Heresy, and in fact they were created 6,000 years later, right? More close to the 40,000 millennium than the 30 millennium. Okay, so in the 36 millennium, the Ecclesiarchy used to have under their control big armies. Okay, they used to have big armies and fleets. So they had a lot of power, and in particular here we are going to talk about the tyrant Goj Bandir, or Bandir, I guess it's Bandir, that he took the position of the Ecclesiarchy, and he took the position of High Lord of the Administratum. Okay, so he took really this position, and using this position he started challenging all the other powers inside of the empire, creating a type of civil war, okay? And during all this mess he created, he know about a planet that was called, let me see if I can find it here, because San Leor, okay? So he arrived at San Leor, and he was informed by the daughters that there was a type of fighters that were called the daughters of the Emperor. So they were fanatic women fighting in favor of the Emperor. And then, taking advantage of his position, Goj Bandir convinced them to fight for him, okay? Because they thought that he was really how to say that, was really a person defending the emperor's wall, the emperor's grid, and he really thought that he was the good guy. Okay, although it was the opposite. So they went really into a strong civil war, and and they were really in a war. And only there was the forces from Bandar, and then he was attacked by the forces of Sebastian Thor. Okay, that he attacked the Klesherki Palace, and he besieged the Klesherki Palace where Bandar was in. Bandar tried to really destroy or capture, and civil war. His fleet was very damaged by a warp storm, and then he was forced to stay in his Klesherki Palace, where Sebastian Thor really besieged him. Okay, and was during this fight where the custodes were sent more likely to kill Bandar. Okay, and then they face to face with these ladies. Okay, with this woman that were the sisters, the daughters of the emperor, and seeing that the daughters of the emperor, I don't know, the custodes realized that they were confused, or they were not really, they were lied by Bandar. They decide to show to these sisters that they were in the wrong side. Okay, that they were fighting against the emperor, against the emperor forces, as the custodes show to the leader of these daughters of emperor, and they guide her to the emperor's throne room, and then she was convinced that they were fighting in the wrong side of the civil war. So finally, Dominica, the leader of the daughters of the emperor, saw the reality, and she executed Bandar. Okay, and then they finished this civil war, where the Klesherki, okay, the leader of the Klesherki, or the guy that usurped the leadership of the Klesherki, turned the army against the empire. Okay. So as a result of that, there was a reformation, and the Klesherki have to give back all his forces. So all the military forces went to the Astrum Militarum, and all the fleet went to the Navy. And at this point, the Klesherki was not allowed to have an army inside of under their command, except Thor. Okay, found in this decree found a room to enroll the daughters of the emperor as the arm part of the Klesherki. Okay, it seems that there was was like a hole in, or how it's called this. There was they say that the daughters of the emperor were unaffected by the decree, because in reality the daughters of the emperor were not part of the Astrum Militarum neither. Okay, so as a result of that, the High Lords at the end accepted that, and they were renamed as the Sisters of Battle, or Adepta Sororitas. Okay, they were renamed as the Adepta Sororitas. And at this point was the start of the Adepta Sororitas, so in the 36th millennium. So interesting, they were fighting for the Klesherki, and then they realized that the leader of the Klesherki was really fighting against the emperor, against the emperor's servants, and they decided to execute the leader of the Klesherki, because they are the most fanatic followers and the most fanatic army of the Klesherki, right? So, and the Adepta Sororitas we can see here the composition. So how they are subdivided in preceptories, and then each preceptory will be subdivided in commandery, and then they are divided depending on the missions. So you will have different levels of canones, and if we look here, the chat. So the Ave Sanctorum of the Adepta Sororitas, so the maximum of the Adepta Sororitas, really is taking the orders directly from the emperor. Okay, so the only superior for them is the emperor inside of the ecclesiarchy. Okay, then they will be divided into preceptories, and each preceptory will have their own subdivision. And all of them, this is how the hierarchy is organized in the Adepta Sororitas. Of course, inside we also have the ecclesiarchy. You can see that the Adepta Sororitas is part of the ecclesiarchy, and they have two types they are divided in covens. Okay, they can have covens prioris and covens sanctorum. So and then you have orders militans. Okay, and then you have orders that are not militants, like the order hospitalier, the order famulus, the order dialogus, and then they have even minor orders. So the Adepta Sororitas does not only have the arm or the army orders, okay, that are the orders militants. They have different orders that have different functions inside of the ecclesiarchy. Okay, but as you can see, they go to the priores. Okay, so the command chat is inside of the Adepta Sororitas. What a commandery can have, so the commandery will have Sister Dialogus Hospitalier, will have battle tanks, we have missionaries of the galaxy, ministorum preachers, ecclesiarchy battle conclaves, crusades, archoflagellants, and then as well they will have, depending on the mission, so all the different squads of Adepta Sororitas they have. Okay, we can see as well that and then they will have their own fleet to move, and they will have even Sions and other units that can fight together again with the Adepta Sororitas. Okay, so yeah, the Adepta Sororitas, their equipment normally they are equipped with power armor. It's a different system than the one used for the Space Marines, because they don't have all the enhancements that the Space Marines have. Okay, so in principle they are humans without enhancers, without mutations, or without any I will say enhancements. Okay, they are not super soldiers like the humans. Just to see, so we can see here a picture of the power armor. Okay, they always have one of the symbols, most typical symbols is the fleur de lis, is the typical symbol of the Sisters of Battle, and as it is a way to proclaim the loyalty to the Adepta Sororitas, to the ecclesiarchy and the Imperium. Okay, so these are typical marks they will have, and you will see that they have fleur de lis in all the armies. It's common that they also have purity seals. Okay, like a protection, so it's like a religious thing, and they will have benedictions or other type of maybe texts of the how it's called, the Emperor's Cubit and so on. Okay, the basic weapon they have normally is the bolter, like the Space Marines. Okay, and then the special weapons they used to have, and the heavy weapons are normally flamers, heavy flamers, melters and multi-melters. So these are the main armory they have. Okay, so they have bolters, fire, and more fire with the multi-melter. Typical to have this, the chaplet of Ecclesiarchus. So every member of the Sisters of the Sisterhood wears a string of adamant beads bearing one of these icons of the ecclesiarchy. So as I said, they have the icon of the ecclesiarchy, the eye Also the eye that is used for the Inquisition a lot of times. And they have the livery, okay, so this is also very typical. The armor, they will have the armor, and then as well this piece of cloth called the livery. Okay. Then there is six main orders. Okay, I will not go into detail, and these orders were created by the first leader of the order. Okay, they have a very influence how the leader, what's called the canoness that create the order, how was killed or how he fights in the past. Okay, and this create a creed inside of the order that or a way to fight that it's really influencing how they will what are their own unique abilities within the different orders. So we have the order of our martyred lady, the order of the valorous heart, the bloody rose, the order of the Ebon Chalice, and this will cover all these orders, it's for another video, the order of the Argent Road, and the order of the Sacred Rose. So these are the six main orders, the most famous orders inside of the Sisters of Battle or Adepta Sororitas. But then we have more orders that are called orders minoris that are also part of this. But I would say the previous ones are the six most important. And then, as I said before, there are non-militant orders. Okay, so for example, the orders Diargus, the orders Famulus, the orders Hospitalis, and the orders and others non-orders militants. Okay, so the orders Diargus are the ones that are more like the preachers, that the ones that spread the word of the emperor. Okay, so Sisters of the Order serves as scholars and advisors. They are expert translators of texts, both humans and Xenos, holy, blasphemous, and spend years learning languages and use of esoteric scripts. Okay, so you can see they are like the ones that, and also the ones that the most serious of the orders, the Argus, maintain the ancient text held, so they are really protecting the word of the emperor. The orders Famulus are the ones that are taking the network. They have a network of chamberlains, advisors, and diplomats whose sacred duty is to guide imperial noble families in working towards the ultimate good of mankind. Okay, so as you can see, they are like the advisors for the nobles to be sure that the dirigents, the big important people in the empire, follows the emperor's creed. And the orders hospitalier are the orders that are taking care of. They are like the doctors in the past. Okay, so sisters of these orders exhibit their fairs by operating in grueling battlefield conditions, sawing off, cauterizing limbs, and so on. Okay, so they are medics. Okay, so there is the order of the medics. And then we have other orders that they have different functions inside of the order. As you can see, it's not only you have more than you have also the non-militant orders inside of the Sisters of Battle. They are spread in different battlefields. I will not go here. We see more again a little bit the chronologic part. Okay, as you can see, Millennium 36 is when was the founding of the militant orders. Okay, so the beginning of this. Okay, and I think this is the main history. Now we will have different units here, explanations. I will not go in detail. Just to say, the canonesses are different levels, as you can see. So there is a canoness. You can have, for example, a canoness leading all the preceptores. Each preceptores is led by another canoness. That is the canoness. So there is the canoness superior. There is the canoness preceptor, and then there is the canoness commander. And I will say, normally what you should find on the battlefields is the canoness commander, and then there is the palatine. That the palatine is taking care, so the Canones commander can have different missions, and the Paladin is taking care of a small group of Sisters of Battle. It's very similar to the Elite one on the Space Marines. But here the difference is the Canones. Yeah, you have this will be like the chapter master, and then you have even an order superior. Okay, this will be but you can see how it's organized, right? So you have different levels of Canones. You have the Paladin. The Paladin we have not seen miniatures yet, but I think it's coming soon. Okay, this is another thing to talk another day. They have the most common heroes, or the most some of the most important hero of the Sister of Battle is the Celestine, and the Celestine it's an entity that I guess it's moved by, it's really it's quite unknown how it works, but it seems that it's linked to the warp and it's linked to the Emperor's will. Okay, it's it's an undying saint. Okay, even if she's dead, he will revive somewhere on the Empire and be back on fight. So it's really like a saint, like an entity that it seems to be moved by the will of the Emperor. Okay, we have then we're gonna go. So inside of the Sisters of Battle, we have three main squads. We have the Battle Sisters squads, Dominion squads, and Retributor squads. These are the squads. So the Sisters of Battle squads are the tactical squads, so they are the more versatile. The Dominion squads are specialized in special weapons and also in infiltrating in the enemy, and the Retributor squads are the ones that are holding the heavy weapons. Okay. And then inside you have something more specific. You have the Angelical Host. They are the ones that have backpacks, and here you have two types of Angelic Host. These are normally elite fighters. They are better than the fighters that have that are superior, have been on fighting for longer time. The Seraphim are more tactical, using pistols, and the Sephirim are more into close combat. And then if a Sister of Battle is it's failing in his it's have a failure, or it's I mean it's have created some type of sin, to say it in a way. Okay, they are not, or they have run away or something like that, so they have failed in their duties, and most likely they will be forced to go into repentant squads. These are squads that are very low protected, okay, and they will just go to fight, to die, and redeem their name by dying fighting for the Emperor. Okay, so yeah, it's possible to redeem themselves if they do really a brave action, but it's very difficult. Most of them will die, and it's like a punishment if they have done something wrong as a Sister of Battle. Okay, Celestian squads, just to say that they are the elite and the bodyguards normally of the Canonesses, and then we have some special how it's called, these characters or special roles inside of the Sisters of Battle, like the Magifer. The Magifer is the one that keeps the main, so it's bringing the sacred symbol, and is a way to exhorting and to keeping the morale high, and as well protecting them and giving the benediction and so on. So try to protect the sisters. We have the Hospitaliers, that are the, as I said, the medics. The Alogi, so they are they will try to use to be on the battlefield and use the Emperor's Creed to keep high the morale, and then they have three main vehicles. Okay, they have the Rhinos as the main transport. They have Immolators. It's very similar to the Razorbacks from the Space Marines, so it's transport, but it's sacrificing transport capacity by having a heavy weapon on top, normally multi-melters or heavy flamers or heavy bolters. Okay, and then they have the Exorcist, that is like a it's a very specific tank of the Sisters of Battle that makes a rain of missiles on the opponents. Okay, it's the only support the Sisters of Battle have. Okay, and then inside of the Classier kit that are not Sisters of Battle, we can have the Ministorum Priest, and then you can have some special characters, fanatics, like the Crusades or the Death Cult Assassins. Okay, there are as well the Arco-Flagellants and the Engines of Penance. Okay, so these are other type, but here I really wanted to talk about the Adepta Sororitas. These are instead of the Adepta Sororitas, but these are more Ministorum. These are not really Adepta Sororitas. So yeah, the Arco-Flagellants are almost servants. Okay, so they are people modified with this type of flails to be like mindless fighters, and the Engines of Penitence again. So when the pilot is someone that have committed terrible crime or something of some type of act that really demands a big punishment, so they will be attached to this type of machine and forced to fight and die fighting within this machine. Okay, and I think this here I don't want to go more in depth. I just want to talk a little bit on who are the Sisters of Battle, what is the origin, and a little bit of overview of the different units they have. Later on, once I have covered more factions, we are going to go in depth in more orders of factions. But if there is something that you're really interested and you would like me to talk in the next Friday, please leave it in the comments below. I hope these videos are interesting for you, sometimes a little bit long, but yeah, I want to cover a little bit each faction and give, normally we always talk about what they do in the battlefield, on the game. Here I want to cover a little bit of the background. So I hope you have enjoyed this one. Please give a like if you have liked it, and as usual, thanks a lot for watching, and see you again later. Bye.